Hey y'all, welcome back to Taker's Keep. And today we're covering two very special figures that we don't normally review on this channel. And that is bootleg figures. Which is what I like to say, but it would be pretty negative to call these bootlegs. I would call them unlicensed figures, which just means that the IP, in this case Fate Grand Order, did not particularly give their permission to create these particular sculpts, but HobbyBeat, the manufacturer, did what other manufacturers didn't or is not doing, and that is making affordable scale figures with conceptual designs that honestly look really, really cool. I'm personally kind of sick of some of the other manufacturers like Aniplex and in certain ways Good Smile too, making very, very safe figures. So HobbyBeat really kind of pushed that envelope while also keeping the price tag incredibly low. We're talking $30 to $40 per figure, which is insane. Don't even get me started. Just the fact that a 1/7 figure starting price is around $30 is kind of unheard of in my opinion. Either there's something terribly wrong with the figure, or I don't know. I really, that was kind of what really made me want to make that jump, make that leap into purchasing these figures, because I wanted to see for myself if these were worth the price, and I'll let you know I was definitely surprised. So without further ado, let's get right into the review. I only have one word for this figure, and that is impressive. This figure is incredibly impressive for the price that they're asking, and just how they pulled off the concept for this sculpt. And as a Melusine lover, I absolutely love Melusine as a character, definitely one of my favorite Fate Grand Order servants. It's just a shame that she came out very recently, so there's no figures except for her Nendoroid that exists on the market right now. They're all in development, and on top of that, they really only have her first Ascension outfit and her third Ascension outfit in production. No one has actually made that leap to create a prototype for her final Ascension, which in my opinion is the most iconic and story relevant. It's kind of one of these things where you just need to know about, you need to read Lost Belt 6 in Fate Grand Order to really understand why this detail is so incredibly important to Melusine's character. But man, this figure really does it for me. This figure of Melusine might not have the best sanding job, paint job, and there might be a couple of issues, like the most apparent one is her horns. Her horns are kind of bent at different angles, which is a little jarring to see. However, it just really captures that final Ascension art, and that's really what I wanted to see. If I was going to buy a Melusine figure, it had to be with her final Ascension artwork, and HobbyBeat really pulled it off incredibly well on such a tight budget. The wings are massive. With the wings itself, she's already about 12 inches high. You love to see that. The wing details look great. On top of having great wing details, she comes with not one set of wings, but 2 sets of wings. She comes with her original white Albion wings, which are the ones with the white and purple accents. And she also has completely clear wings, which I wasn't sure I was going to use, but they actually look fantastic. I was originally just going to use the Albion wings only, but the clear wings just looked so good, I needed to go for that half and half. I just love when manufacturers add extras to the figure packaging, just more mix and match opportunities, which I usually only see with Nendoroids, so seeing this on a scale figure is a breath of fresh air. And that's really not the only accessory that comes with this figure. I would say HobbyBeat is definitely a very cultured manufacturer because she does have all the lady bits. She is a cast-off figure, which for these purposes, you know, this YouTube channel is for, you know, good little girls and boys. I can't be showing that, but if that is your prerogative, if that's what you really want, they have 2 sets of clothing, or I guess it's more like 1.5 sets of clothing. Her collar, she has a collar piece that has no cloth on it, so you can pretty much present her topless, as well as having a completely transparent cloth that you can put over her so you can still see the bits. On top of the fact that her panties are removable. But hey, I'm not gonna show you that. You can use your $40 and you can purchase your own Melusine, and that can be something that you try out yourself. But I'm just letting you know, this is a not safe for work figure, or it can be. They did include some little sticky tacks with the packaging as well, since the cloth that goes over her chest is a little loose. So you can use the sticky tacks to pretty much, like, not permanently, but temporarily stick the cloth onto her chest so that there is, you know, almost no possibility of having an accidental nip slip. So I'll reiterate, the paint job is not the greatest. However, they really nailed her face. Like, something that I notice on a lot of unlicensed figures is that the face sculpts usually look really shoddy, really weird. But I look at this figure and I can look at her face and I can just recognize that as Melusine. It's amazing that really happened. Like, I just feel like there is some, like, accredited manufacturers that still mess up characters' faces to this day. I would say HobbyBeat did a better job on Melusine's face than a lot of the pop-up parades that are out right now. Heck, you can even argue that her quality rivals that of pop-up parades, and she sells for even cheaper than pop-up parades. So tell me why that is. Like, that's crazy to me. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, from head to her tail, she is an excellent figure. I highly recommend it. If you really do love Melusine and you can't wait for the other scale figures of her to come out, this will definitely keep you satisfied till then, because God knows when those prototypes will actually be up for pre-order. So I'm also going to address the base. The base itself is amazing. It's a tad big. It's on the big side. However, I love it. Conceptually, it works so well. It's coupled with the fact that she's reaching out of the mud, and you can kind of see the her hand that's reaching out, dripping, oozing, sort of like almost the same color as the mud that she's reaching out from. There were a couple reviewers that mistakenly thought that this substance was corrupted Grail mud, like from Fate Zero, when the corrupted Grail bursted forth and spilt out mud, this black mud that destroyed Fuyuki. This right here is not Grail mud. This in reality is the corpse, the liquefied corpse of Albion, the legendary dragon from Avalon, which is which is a whole other thing to get into with mystics and Avalon and the other side of the world. She is kind of reaching out of her own decaying corpse, because Melusine is just a small part of the remains of Albion that gained its own sentience. Yeah, Fate lore can get pretty metal at times, and confusing, and strange. But yeah, that's Melusine in a nutshell. If you want to know more, there's definitely a lot more on the wikis that you can look at. But I would hate to spoil anyone who has yet to play Lost Belt 6, so that's where I'll end it. Now, our last figure of the day is Abigail Williams, otherwise known as Abby in Fate Grand Order. She's most well known for being the avatar for Yog-Sothoth, a outer god of gates, hence why she holds a key. And this particular figure is based off of her first Ascension in the games, or I should say it's more loosely based off of it, because she is a little girl in the games. So it looks like HobbyBeat took some creative liberties and aged her up. You can really tell from the curves in the figure of this figure that she is definitely of a greater age than the original Abby. But hey, I'm not complaining about her not being completely one-to-one to the source material. It saves me trouble. I will say, for, again, around $40 I think I paid after shipping and tax, this is another very impressive figure. I feel like I need to pay attention more to what HobbyBeat puts out, because it's a very good $40 figure. The tentacle is incredibly impressive on this figure. With the suction cups and the texture, it just looks so unnerving, uncanny, yet so impressive. I just really love the attention to detail that they put into the tentacle, complete with a booty print so that Abigail Williams sits on this tentacle without the risk of falling down. And then moving up from the base, the figure itself is just so well done. Again, HobbyBeat nailed that face sculpt. I'm very surprised. I usually, when it comes to unlicensed figures, I associate them with very shoddy face sculpts, even down to like pop-up parades and some prize figures. They usually get the face sculpts completely wrong, but this one is just so on point. You know, complete with the keyhole in the middle of her forehead. It is just perfect. A very, very good face sculpt. And when we move from the face into the hair, now we get into kind of a reason why this is $40. There is like seam lines, a lack of shading, a lack of sanding. The paint job could be better. However, I don't feel like I have the I can really make those judgments when I spent so little on the figure. So that is a pass. There isn't a lot of clothes on this figure. That is one thing I'll say straight up. There is not a lot of clothes. However, the hat is fantastic. I just love the bows, the assortment of bows and the teddy bears, and just the starry night detail in the inside of her hat. The fact that those white dots, they remind me of just like stars in the sky. Really, really great detail. We got the little draping thing. Again, this is another cast off figure. She does have all her lady bits, so you can take off this lacy butterflies. I really don't know what to call what she's wearing, but that can be taken off. But this channel is for good little boys and girls, so we're not going to do that. And her stocking, which is really only on her right leg, looks fantastic. The texture on it is spectacular. And with that, that's the end of my review. Don't let the price tag fool you. These are not the shoddy bootlegs that you're accustomed to, that you find on AliExpress or eBay for $10, $20, and then find out they are just horribly scuffed. They come in their own individual boxes, albeit the boxes may come up really beat up, but the figure itself will usually come in one piece. And at least on AliExpress, they do have a very generous return policy if anything does happen during shipment. I believe since the figures are unlicensed, they are not considered valid figures. So you're not going to find it on my figure collection, and you're not really going to find them online unless you look at Chinese retailers. So you really need to know what you're looking for to find these particular figures. HobbyBeat has a catalog that you can look through. They really don't have many things available, but you can kind of check out what they've made, and then you can use that information to go to AliExpress and find the figure for yourself. And finally, even if you're saving $5, do not order these figures without a box. If you order these figures without a box, you already saw what happened to Abby's box and how terrible a condition Abby's box was. You should buy a box so that you have the figure in one piece and not several pieces. And with these warnings said, thank you very much for tuning into this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you liked what you saw today, and I'll see you on the next review. See ya!